I almost clicked this quit spectating button, which would have been disastrous.
That would have been disastrous. Alright, we are heading into game number 3, ladies and gentlemen, between Worldwide Wipers and Federal Extreme Union. Again, they have switched sides, so us casters will have to mindlessly grab in the dark to try to remember that these teams have finally switched again. So we have got Federal Extreme Union on purple team and Worldwide Wipers on blue team. And so far, anybody on the purple team has won, so I guess we might, with that same pattern, FEU might secure this for the first round of the ggClassic.
Yeah, and for those of you who don't know, this is the round of 32, so we have 32 teams, with 8 being seeded, and then the rest had to basically duke it out to get the other seeds, so a great assortment of teams that we have. Looks like we see very similar, in fact, this is actually the same bands from last game. We see Shen, Lee Sin, of course, really strong bruisers, Cassiopeia, of course, everyone who doesn't know. If you haven't played in a while, Cassiopeia is ridiculous. AP, just the amount of damage, and in the same vein, so is Karthus. Both of those APs are pretty hyper carry status. Looks like Shaco just does not want to be dealt with, but he's getting actually reworked in the patch again. Well, not reworked, he's actually getting changed in terms of his 2 shivs, so we'll see whether or not that's actually going to change him, but for now, neither team really wants to pick him up either. And a Janna ban once again. So, because Janna is just so disruptive. I mean, if you really have a great Janna, that is just actually really good for your team no matter what. I think in almost any situation, Janna is a very good pick. So, we do see a Kog'Maw pick immediately. Now, that's 3 games in a row we've seen Kog'Maw be picked, but this time is once again for Worldwide Wipers. So, will they go AP Kog'Maw? Will they just go in for the traditional AD carry bot lane? We'll have to find out.
And I'm actually very surprised to see blue team has decided to ban Janna, since Janna was actually their support for game number 1 that FEU decided was enough of a tangle to mess with. They have banned out Karthus, but banning out their own Janna. On the other hand, we've got Crom to Rum securing Nunu, and Laudanus picking up Shyvana, not going to let the rest of Worldwide Wipers take that Shyvana Mundo duo, I guess. They were able to dive pretty much the entire FEU team under their turret without any sort of worry whatsoever.
Yeah, and that's it was good play making by Yetz. In fact, Luna Reddick also has some good plays with Shyvana as well, just coming in from behind and doing some great dragon descents and pretty much use Kennen as a landing zone for her airstrip. So it was a pretty gross sight to watch Kennen get completely destroyed over and over. Now Karamja did pick up Nunu. Now Nunu is actually, we were talking about how Janna is a popular support. Nunu has been increasingly popular by the EU meta, and you know, he's actually going to go up against Soraka, which is interesting because Soraka is supposed to be the one of the supports that really negates a lot of Nunu's damage. So we'll see how that plays out, especially because Alex picked up Clairvoyant instead of the triple heal. Now, we do see a Misfortune pick, which is fantastic, just to be able to reduce the healing, not only on just Soraka, but on the ultimate from Mundo as well. So really important to reduce the heal. No, Xantia is just faking us out, man. So looks like they might just pick Gragas or Misfortune. I'll figure it out eventually, but Rah, more importantly, is picking Nilly for the 3rd game in a row.
And that first game, Rah, able to split push, able to harass Yetz on Riven so well. Second game, unfortunately, Rah did his job, and his team was unable to really support that split pushing mindset that they have. That AP Kog'Maw shutting down Stealth Breed in mid, and in bottom lane, Gorky able to harass down Graves, and Leona unfortunately not able to keep everybody off him in time to get into the late game where Graves really shines. So I'm very surprised actually that they're going to stick with that. Ooh, an Orianna.
Yes. Okay, Orianna is like my 2nd most played in season 2. No, just because I think Orianna is still really good. It's just that, yeah, she gets outshined by people with stronger forms of slows and and more damage, especially by people like Cassiopeia and Karthus. But Orianna is still fantastic, especially her ultimate still can just change so much of the game. What's interesting is that they are actually going to go with a carry Kog'Maw bottom lane. They're going to send Orianna mid. Now they're going to have a lane wick top, and Lunar Reddick looks like he is just going to stay on that. And lane wick is just so hard to move. We're talking about Nidalee is hard to move from lane, but Warwick is just so much sustain, especially if he just starts to pile on the lifesteal, and he's just able to really stay in lane. We do see Stealthbreed picking up Kennen yet again, and hopefully they can turn things around, but this time they have Shyvana jungling. So let's go ahead and talk a little bit about compositions and how they're supposed to work here, Michelle.
Yeah, so honestly, I'm happy to see Stealthbreed here taking Kennen. Like to see him kind of redeem himself after game number 2, but if Stealthbreed manages to last hit and harass Orianna to get away from the ball, I think he'll have a very successful middle lane here. In top lane, with Rora and Lunar Reddick, is just a matter of sustaining and who can trade a little bit better. In jungle, we've got Shyvana and Mundo. Shyvana and Mundo, I guess, both very quick junglers, and yet it's proving to be a very effective, very, very effective Mundo. Karam Jerome deciding to go for the non-sustain support again on Nunu as opposed to Alex Man on Soraka. And while one of them will provide more buffs to an already very buff-like character, and I don't mean buffs as in buffing the champions after patch notes, I mean giving them statistical buffs. And Laudandus, with a built-in ignite and with the movement speed, I think we'll be able to actually whittle down the healing abilities on Soraka. I'm actually very surprised with that Soraka pick, since because of that built-in ignite, that's going to mitigate the healing power that Soraka normally has. I just say that since I as Dan plays a lot of Orianna, I played a lot of Soraka, and since I play support, but man, it's one of the things I hate about playing a support champion that does nothing but heal.
Well, it's interesting to note that Alex, actually, he originally had Clairvoyance, but when they picked Shyvana, she kind of switched it for Exhaust. Now, we were talking earlier about how CV was really useful, but if you can't really gauge where your opponent's jungler is, especially for speedy junglers, Clairvoyance might actually kind of be pointless unless you're trying to secure an objective. And Xanthias with Shyvana is just so fast. I mean, you say, okay, she should, like, it's 3 minutes and 20 seconds. She should be, like, at the best clearing golems or something. No, she's actually, like, in your jungle taking your golems or even your res. So it's sometimes really, really difficult to pin where it is, and they're better off laning wise taking Exhaust, especially keeping Kog'Maw safe. Especially also because they have so many people that it might be hard to land down with that blood boil, and those just a lot of speed comes out from FE. That's kind of the number one thing that screams at me. There's just a lot of mobility and speed with Kennen's Lightning Rush, Dragon Descent, Blood Boil. There's lots of ways for them to dictate engagement paths, and more importantly, that they're very close engagement sighted because of Kennen's ultimate, because the way Nidalee fights, and of course Shyvana just wants to throw herself into the fray. So that's kind of the way they want to engage, versus, again, we'll see a little bit more of that pokey kind of be very careful to engage from Worldwide Wipers, just because Orianna has her attack command poke. Kog'Maw, of course, Living Artillery defines poke, and we do see a little cleaver. So we don't expect too much of engagement from Worldwide Wipers unless they have a distinct advantage. So we'll see if both teams will be able to execute based off of what their compositions are. But it looks like the game is finally loading. Now comes the best part of the game, which is seeing what skins they have. And oh, I love that Warwick skin. I really wish I had that one.
Me too. Unfortunately, I've not picked up any of the Earth and Manatee skins, or any of them somewhat related, since the release of League of Legends. And unfortunately, I've been playing since the beta, and unfortunately, not this account, but a different account. I have my King Rammus skin, and I kind of wish I grabbed like Earth Warwick, But yeah, that's always an entertaining skin. You just see a manatee waddling around. But I have always liked that Misfortune skin. That hair, the dramatic sweep of the hair and the hat. Not a huge fan of the coat because it looks neither warm nor comfortable. But yeah, I've always liked that Misfortune skin. And of course, Nunu, the Nunu bot skin, as made famous by, I don't even remember the name of that YouTube video. I feel like I really should.
Well, I don't exactly know either, and I'm actually trying to tweet as game number 3, which everyone loves game number 3. I'm just gonna go ahead and post it with Silver Dirge, and let's see. I'm gonna say it's between FEU and WWW, which actually is our introduction here. Let's go ahead and say where our teams are located. Who do we have in the bottom left, Michelle?
Bottom left will be Worldwide Wipers, and in the top right corner is Federal Extreme Union. Teams have switched yet again, so these are the same layouts they've had from game number 1. Same song, different verse kind of a thing. We've got very different champions from the first game around. Kog'Maw played in all 3 games, as well as Nidalee played in all 3 games, and I'm excited to see where the rest of this plays out. We've got, Perzo trying to keep Xantius from moving in on the lane, and ggClassic all alone here in bottom lane will take some free damage from Laudandis.
Yeah, so that's gonna at least put some fear inside of Mundo's mind, because he's not sure if they're going to actually commit to the invade. Now, keep in mind that, Raw is setting up traps very, very vigilantly, and they even have a ward immediately placed at their opponent's blue, so they might try to see if they can steal that eventually, either as Mundo's going for it. But Raw is treading very dangerous waters right now, being very aggressive with no real basis. In fact, Lunar Redick actually sees Raw, so it's actually going to be a very awkward moment where both teams aren't really sure how much they're coming with in terms of reinforce. They're like, oh, is that actually 1 person or is that 3? But for now, we actually see pretty passive openings. No one's actually going to commit to a level 1 fight.
And we've got everybody returning to lanes. Neither Karamja Rum or Laudandis are going to steal the small golems, which are pretty much up for grabs, and unfortunately, they're not going to be able to take that. Instead, deciding, since we don't have vision, we're going to back up and play a little bit more safely, while Mundo trying to keep a close eye here on blue buff. Lunar Redick has backed up, and there is another trap placed underneath that ward, and unfortunately we're not able to see it past the grass. But keeping an eye on where Mundo is going to end up going. Stealth Breed and Perzo again in middle lane. We've got an Orianna Kennen matchup. Stealth Breed shut down very, very handily that last game with Perzo on an AP Kog'Maw. So I'd like to see Stealth Breed redeem himself just a little bit more in bottom lane. We can see already Alex Man has warded, deciding to play a little bit more, or I guess ward very aggressively here on a Karamja Rum and Laudandis. Karamja deciding to take the more aggressive Nunu, which is honestly less aggressive than Leona, but still a brutal support player to try to play against.
Yeah, so, we'll have to see if he's able to really capitalize on that. Now, Bot's actually trading a lot, and ggClassic actually is the one who wants to trade, because in the end, he can be sustained with more damage. So, not exactly the best job there by Misfortune in terms of managing, but she did manage to pick up some potions and get Boots 3, which just gives her that mobility. Kog'Maw, of course, picked up that Doran's Blade for more durability. Now, Ra's immediately starting to work on top turret, and unfortunately Yetz went Doran's shield, so he wasn't able to really have that much health for immediate gank. But he's moving his way top here, and the way Ra is pushing, he doesn't even care because he's relying on his traps. He does end up seeing his opponent though. Is he going to be able to get away in time? I think he should be, as Yetz does waltz in here, but Ra should be able to get away safely.
Yeah, Yetz continuing to chase down Ra. There's a cleaver coming out here. And Yeah, I have such bad difficulty with his name. I really wish he plays on his alternate account. I think it's like red something. But yeah,
Well,
continuing to stay up in top lane. Here comes Yetz with the double buff. Does land the cleaver. There's the burning agony. Does force a flash out of Nidalee very early, which is a repeat of that last game. As soon as you put pressure on Raw and don't let him farm up and take your towers, they should be fine.
Yeah, Yetz is not relenting. He's still staying up here, you know, trying to hide himself in the trees and stay camouflaged, but now it's actually gotten very dangerous because Xanthius is actually lurking close to top, and he can counter gank, and that's kind of what Shyvana does. They rely on counter ganking, not necessarily trying to set up your own ganks. And looks like she's going up towards Tribush, sees Yetz, does land a twin bite, which means Yetz has to commit of some sort because he's going to be slowed. Xanthius does end up getting exhausted. Where is Raw? With the assistance, he's actually kind of just sitting up there. It's going to just heal Xanthius, so crisis averted, no actual engagement, just kind of a hit and run kind of ordeal. And I think because Raw did not want to miss this huge amount of creep waves, easily 15 CS would have been missed if they fought there. So again, jungler sticking top. Both teams want to secure first blood, but Yetz is at a pretty big disadvantage because Xanthius still has that red buff and has a level advantage.
And Rora doing an excellent job last hitting here under the tower. Reddick just taking his sweet time pressuring Nidalee here. And Vladan is actually taking a lot of damage here out of both Alexman and Kalik. Combined, that lack of sustainability without a heal from Karandra Rem is starting to show here. Kalik with that range that he has. Oh, Vladan is there we go.
Yeah, so looks like, again, let's actually check back on mid. And this time Stealthbreed is doing a good job asserting himself in lane, pressuring Prizzo. Now, Prizzo, we'll have to see pretty much how he's able to fare in lane until he gets blue. Actually, here comes the ultimate. Looks like the distance is activated. Stealthbreed does activate Slicing Maelstrom and Ignite. Yetz is trying to see if he can clean up Stealthbreed, but a great pickup of first blood there by Stealthbreed, and that's actually exactly what he needed to do to change the pace against Pizzo, because up until then, Prizzo's been bullying him, going back to game number 2 and even game number 1, so looks like he ended up cleaning up there, and first blood is finally on the board. Yeah,
and very well played by Stealthbreed. Was almost taken down, but decides to pull Prizzo down first. And that could have been a 1-for-1. Unfortunately, Yetz not able to follow up with a kill on Stealthbreed, who runs out of there with like barely a bar and a half of health left. And Raw doing work here in this top tower. Lunal Reddick just kind of helplessly standing around.
Yeah, I mean, Warwick isn't up to his levels where he just sustains like crazy with his ability to just stay. If he just keeps biting you and just sustains with his passive, he's able to really stay in lane. That's when it's level 9. We do see a double ward here actually, and Xanthius is getting really low. Actually kind of has to get out of there before he actually gets executed. And will WWW pick sights of this? No, in fact, they won't even get there in time to see Dragon being taken. So a nice little pickup there, and all of a sudden a 2.2k gold advantage, which is pretty hefty at 7 minutes and 45 seconds into this game here, Michelle.
And actually right now there's just that one ward placed by Soraka here in this bottom lane for Worldwide Wipers. They have no vision of the map, whereas we can see that we've got several wards here placed by FEU. Keep an eye on the rest of the map. Lunal Reddick here up in top lane as Warwick, despite the pokings by Nidalee, still able to keep himself up to speed with that lifesteal. And back in middle lane, Prizzo continuing to bully Stealthbreed, even though he did draw first blood. There we go. And actually deciding to also take blue buff. An excellent choice for both of these champions.
Yeah, you know, people say, oh, Ken's energy-based champion, he doesn't need blue buff, but he still benefits from the cooldown reduction and the fact that he's able to spam more of his shurikens without fear of repercussions. Oh, Lunal Reddick does end up picking the kill there with Raw though, because of Yetz coming to assist. I thought Raw was able to escape up to Judas shenanigans, but did manage to barely land that last tick of the Ignite, so great job there. And honestly, again, Raw, he did a good job in game number 1 in terms of pushing and getting away, but that's kind of a good mark of a top lane player. It's not necessarily their ability to CS and finish, while that's really important, but their ability to escape ganks and make sure to waste the time with the jungler. So Raw failing a little bit there, but hopefully can turn it around going into 9 minutes in this game.
And I have to comment, that's a very fascinating bug that I've I've only seen once or twice with Warwick. You ult somebody in the middle of their flash, and the ult still lands, but they are stuck in a completely different position than you. So unfortunately, Raw burnt flash before Infinite Duress landed and was stuck. Pretty much landed right into Yetz's lap, and Yetz just kind of sits there and cleaves Nidalee's face until she dies over the wall. So well played by both Warwick and Dr. Mundo. But here in bottom lane, we're seeing a lane gank, or an attempt of a lane gank by Xandius, but that ward there, they definitely see Shyvana and are hugging their tower. Here comes Yetz to try to support them.
Yeah, they know, but I mean, the more time they waste, and the whole idea is that they're trying to just pressure lanes a lot. Look at it, Raw still up to his usual shenanigans. Oh, we do see Kennen going up here against Orianna, but Orianna does land a full combo, getting everything. Kennen, he had to kind of dodge more of Orianna's attacks. If you can dodge a lot of where the ball is going, then you can avoid a lot of damage, but good job there by Prizzo, as Stealth Breed ends up dropping there. And looks like it goes back to bottom lane. Calic under a lot of pressure, exhausted as well. Xanthias trying to do it. There goes the Sub-Zero attempt, and bullet time. Will Calic drop here? Does barely live with under 50 HP, and Laudandis is actually under a lot of pressure. Yet wants to clean up a lot of the damage, but the burnout and the flame breath might actually be too much for Yetz to engage upon. Here comes Prizzo with an attempt to clean up as well, but after everything, looks like it's not going to actually result in any kills. And let's go ahead and check top lane, though. Again, Raw still just pushing. So a lot of almost attempts, but still not getting too close. But Raw is actually getting super far into his base. Look at her work on that inner turret at just 11 minutes into this game. And if you go down 2 turrets this early, that's a very huge momentum swing.
We are just past the 11 minutes and 30-second mark. But, oh, ping's going down by the rest of Worldwide Wipers. They know of that ward there. Actually, Nidalee does not have the wriggles, deciding not to grab that first, and Mundo taking the long way around to try to take down Ra. And here we go. There's a repeat of that gank. There's the Infinite Duress onto Ra, and she will melt instantly. Yeah, great choice. This is exactly what they wanted to do originally. Against Ra, doing a fantastic job keeping Nidalee pinned. It's not just about slowing her, it's not just about displacing her with Nidalee. You have to just lock her down, keep her at her feet. And so, fantastic job there with the Ignites and the Infinite Duress to really whittle down her ability to stay alive. And, you know, as a result, we see WWW with climbing their way back into this game gold-wise, despite FEU taking an early lead. We see Karamja and Ladondum still pushing up here very aggressively, and that's kind of what you need to do with MF. And now Nunu's Blood Boil is starting to get to the point where he can keep it up on MF consistently. So it's a really good spot for FEU. They just have to be sure not to give away these small little edges that they've had, because this game is back to being pretty even. And ping's going down. They see Ra. They're just trying to keep Nidalee from doing anything, even though that inner turret right there taking a lot of damage here. Prizzo here in mid does have the blue buff. Stealth Breed, unfortunately, without Alex Man warding very well. So is Karamja. The two of them just having ward wars here in this bottom lane. While Dandis has picked up the Vamp Scepter, triple Dorans, and Berserker's Greaves 2. Calic with Berserker's Greaves 2 Dorans. And yeah, we're just I guess sitting on where or who will make more mistakes. Stealth Breed, there's a 3-man gank here happening in middle lane. There's the Infinite Duress, and the ultimate by Prizzo does proc, but unfortunately doesn't get a Stealth Breed because he just fell very quickly. That is going to free up a little bit of pressure there for the rest of Worldwide Wipers to take Dragon. Very excellently played. Yeah, I feel like Prizzo didn't even get the assist. That's how fast Kennen dropped, but I think she barely managed to sneak it in. Now that does mean a dragon for Worldwide Wipers. That does put them into the gold lead, 4-1. And they also, I mean, despite them going down a turret, although Ra has something to say about that, wants to steal the blue, but now Lunar Reddick is getting to the point where he can just fight nearly straight up, and it becomes
comes down, I think he should be able to out-sustain her in a fight. So looks like we see Yetz trying to rush back to blue, trying to get for Orianna. Orianna very blue dependent early on in the game, just because of how much her attack commands take. So we'll have to find out what Stealth Breed's able to do, because he started off this game strong, but he's again a pretty big difference maker in fights. Kennen ultimate changes the game so much, but the one thing I gotta say is Stealth has got to stop using his ultimate if he knows he's going to die. And he's using it a little bit wastefully, kind of as like a last-ditch effort. My friend calls it a rage ult. You're like, oh god, I'm gonna die, I'm just gonna ult anyways. But you need to really control it, because Ken ultimate swings team fights incredibly with those stun locks. So I gotta say, Stealth has to be a little bit more cautious about his finger over the R button.
And speaking of fingers over the R button, Calic here is continuing to shower live artillery all over Laudandis, who still...
Let's go focus on top, though. Rara almost got called once again, but this time Nidalee's actually high enough HP, and it looks like we see Xantius actually moving up towards the top. But sorry to cut you off, Rochelle, but Rara almost got caught for a third time there, but this time she was actually close enough to escape because she's been hugging her turret. But what's going on in other lanes here? We see Stealth Breed actually diving. Prizzo does manage to pick up the kill, but trades. And is that actually a good trade, though? Do you think? Because Stealth Breed, I mean, I guess he wants to get more gold, but is that actually the trade he's looking for?
Stealth Breed, perhaps. I mean, his lane is pushing towards Worldwide Wipers, but that leaves middle lane all wide open and vulnerable. I would same opinion with you, that Stealth needs to be a little bit more careful with how he plays right now. I know, very quick lane gate here by Yetz, who is running in pursuit of Laudandis and Chrome's River, but Blood Boil will keep these guys alive and kicking. But man, Stealth Breed is just I've seen him play better. I know that he can do better, but we see, oh, there's the Chain Vest, actually, at the beginning of Azonia's as his next item of choice.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Stealth Breed played phenomenally game number 1, so he's capable of it. I think it's more because Prizzo is kind of baiting Stealth Breed, because a lot of people underestimate the burst of Orianna. Heck, I play her and I still underestimate how much damage I can even do. Now, Yetz is actually wandering over towards mid, and Yetz has been everywhere. We just saw him top lane. In fact, he also even went for bottom lane gank, and now he's also hovering around mid, so he's establishing his presence everywhere, but as a result, he's not getting as much CS and farm compared to Shyvana, his counterpart. So actually find him behind slightly in levels, and so maybe Xantius can exercise that, but as a result, Xantius has kind of been AFK farming, not really showing too much presence on the map. Normally you see Shyvana going into jungles and taking it and being really the center of attention. But Xantius, I'm looking for him to make a play right now. Looks like he's gearing up to go towards mid, but Prizzo should be able to see it as he just walked over a wall.
Oh, sorry to interrupt, but Rarara getting caught out again. Does die to a cleaver by Yetz. And,
but back over mid though, Stealth Breed does actually pick up the kill on Prizzo there. So yeah, no, good catch there top. But more importantly though, Stealth Breed is getting his way back into the game, and he's beginning to pick up a kill. And you know, feeding Kennen is definitely not what you want to do come mid-game team fights around objectives. Looks like Xantius is moving down towards the south. We were talking earlier about how Xantius needs to assert himself more, and actually I'm kind of disappointed because Prizzo, he had a ward straight up where Xantius walked over, and he still was not prepared for the gank. But Xantius is now being very aggressive, which I like to see. Yetz is moving towards his opponent's jungle as well, so we see junglers starting to be really aggressive. In fact, they're trading places right now, trading camps.
And there's a clairvoyance. They do see Mundo nearby. There's that ward there in middle lane, and actually Lunalred securing that top lane, so fair exchanges actually in top lane. Actually, no, I would have to say Lunalred is starting to get the upper hand here on Nidalee, whereas Xantius trying to control all 3 lanes, but honestly, Mundo setting the pace for this entire game.
Yeah, Yetz has just been everywhere. He's just been very, very influential from the beginning. Has to be really cautious, because one of the dangers of playing that kind of style is that if you're not successful, you're just going to start falling behind. Now, blue buff, again, looks like they're going to pass it off to Kennen here, and that's actually a really good choice, because blue buff does not really work too well with anyone else other than, yeah, actually you really don't need it, because Nuno's able to really keep up Blood Boil, so a great choice there. And in the meantime, is Xantius going to be able to do it? He's been babysitting mid for a while, and Bristol's probably feeling pretty frustrated just because she really only has that Rod of Ages, and she really hasn't been able to farm since about 15 minutes into this game. But now we see Yet's actually picked up an Oracles. What do you think about that? Actually, like, junglers picking up early Oracles, it's always risky, but I think in this case it might be a good play.
Yeah, the fact that he's currently 1-0-3, I'm pretty sure he can afford, if not be able to support the fact that he can take that Oracles and Mundo being very strong for this whole thing, being able to just turn on Burning Agony for that last game and for this game, just showing how well he is at jungling him. But oh, Xantius almost here, getting caught for the dragon that just came up. And the rest of FEU trying to make their way in here, but we'll see whether or not they can poke that down.
Good timing. Oh, looks like the way FEU setting up, they want to do it. Bullet time and the slicing Maelstrom. Lots of AoE popping down. Looks like we do have Calyx stun locked here. Kog'Maw's trying to unleash. Stealth speed actually drops before being able to kill anyone. Looks like Ladandis did manage to pick off Mundo just before. Calyx under a lot of pressure. Xantius is on the hunt, trying to get over there. Will Burnout be able to take out Calyx? Raw chasing as well. Ladandis does manage to pick off Soraka though, and Calyx does end up getting cleaned up by Ladandis, so a great job there to pick off without overcommitting. And overall, that was a 3-1 swing for FEU, so despite the fact that Dragon did end up going to the Wipers, looks like a great swing there, and now all of a sudden they're going to be able to take out another turret bottom as well, so that could have turned out really poorly for FEU, but managed to switch it around there, and all of a sudden this game is still pretty even.
Yeah, and actually, even games like this are the best kinds of games, and we've got Lunal and Perzo pressuring top and mid, but we've got a 3-man push here in bottom lane with Yetz being the only one here to stop this. He's going to roam around while Damus takes down the bottom turret, and Rora is going to stick around while the rest of his team backs up. Oh, they're all in the retreat, and Stealth Breed continuing to just barely hang on to this middle tower, which will likely fall in the next wave or two. But inner turret also exposed with approximately the same amount of health, and that's two. Let's see. Yeah, that is 2 towers in favor of FEU, and actually, Nunu picking up the Shirelia's Revelry, and Nidalee here grabbing a quick Silver Sash. A wise choice considering the CC needed to take down Nidalee.
Yeah, that's just strictly for Warwick. I mean, Warwick's infant dress is such a hassle to get out of, especially for Nidalee. But more importantly, people say, okay, you know what, like a 2k gold advantage, which is kind of deceiving, but Yet's actually on a lot of pressure. Oh no, he's going to get stun locked here. Ladandis should be able to pick up the kill here. Yetz, is he going to survive? Barely does end up dodging. Looks like Soraka does activate Wish, and Stealth Breed under a lot of pressure. Infant Duress, what a swing here from Lunaredic to be able to pick off Kennen, making sure Stealth Breed does not get away. Oh, but Yetz, he's under a lot of pressure as well. He has to make sure not to get caught here. Prezzo does end up shielding him. Ooh, a missed ultimate there, but great job there to pick up Stealth Breed, and all of a sudden momentum from FEU was cut short because mid tower is going to go down here very soon as well if WWW choose to press in, and with 1 tower could even up the gold count. So again, that's how close this game is. You're talking about items earlier though, so let's go ahead and check that. Kog'Maw has not finished his Infinity Edge, so he's still not that big of a threat. You still need to protect him a lot more than what you would like to, because Miss Fortune does have that Bloodthirster and that Zeal, so she's pretty set. But one thing that's actually interesting to note as well, Michelle, is that FEU actually has an incredible tower taking ability because they have Blood Boil, and Nidalee can even increase her own attack speed with Primal Surge, and you saw how fast they're able to take turrets. So it's even more important for WWW to work together at this point to make sure they don't die, because they can lose towers extremely quickly.
And speaking of losing towers, Lunaredic doing what he can to avoid Rorara taking down all of all of top lane, all on his own. Stealth Breed continuing to cling onto this middle tower, and actually Alexman with the Oracle trying to clear out what they can. I don't think anybody here on FEU has an Oracle yet. No, it doesn't look like it. So we've got multiple Oracles here on Worldwide Vipers. They want that vision, and we can just tell, if we take a look really quickly at what they're able to see, pretty much everything. Or everything that they need to.
Yeah, no, vision is very, very good key for both players. Now, looks like Ladandis, he's been the one that's been doing a good job carrying his team thus far, leading his team in CS, actually leading the game in CS, the first to break 200, and he also has 3 kills to boot. Has to be a little bit cautious though, because at this point, none of the other members of his team aren't as beefy as he'd like him to be. So we'll have to see whether or not Ladandis is going to be the one that's being protected. Meanwhile, Ra still not meeting up with his team, still insisting on separating and trying to go for some kind of a split push. But now that we're 24 minutes into the game, Baron is on the board, so the next person to die could mean a Baron attempt. So both teams don't want to make that mistake. You can tell by the way they're being very cautious.
And everyone's kind of just clumped up in this middle lane. We're seeing a very similar playing out to game number 1, in which both teams just kind of sit at a stalemate here around this middle vicinity for several minutes, and we'll just see how long they decide to drag this out, because the longer they go, I guess the more of an advantage I think will continue to swing into FEU's favor. Ra has a lot of movement, and I guess the entire team here has a lot of movement. And here they go. They're trying to take this blue buff. We could end up seeing a team fight happen right out here. Xantius leading the charge. There's the duress on the Little Redick, by Little Redick. Xantius does Dragon Descent down there. Grum to Rum does get the entire proc off. There's the ultimate by Ladandis as well. Little Redick barely surviving, but Ra takes down Little Redick. And that is currently a 1 for 2. Ladandis taking a lot of damage, does flash over the wall, but Kalik takes him down. Ra last man standing right in here, and Kalik takes him down as well. Very powerful Kog'Maw with a double buff and full health thanks to the lifesteal he has and that Infinity Edge. Wow.
Yeah. That Infinity Edge finishing before the fight was the difference. We were talking earlier about investing into that item and just making it a threat. Now, Stealth Breed sticking around longer than he really should. That mid tower is gonna die. Now, what's interesting is that Ra got really greedy. He definitely could have escaped there, but he really wanted to finish off Soraka, but she was able to really bait that heal and was able to survive the burst of that Cougar combo. Now, let's go ahead and look at Xantius. He's gonna try to sneak in Dragon for his team, because they actually pretty much lost a lot of momentum that they had as well, just because Kog'Maw is now pretty much a big threat into the fight here. He should be able to finish up Zeal momentarily. Now, it looks like Xantius should be able to solo this, but will Yetz and Prizzo stop him? There's 4 members here from FEU, and I wouldn't recommend him pushing in here. Looks like they're moving out, but in fact, FEU could have swung that if they had a little bit better vision, I suppose. But for now, just content with backing it off. 37.4 to 36.4, still too close to call it either way. Both teams pretty much even on gold and almost even on towers as well. And we were talking earlier about how one fight could have determined who gets Baron, but again, team fights have been pretty even, wouldn't you say, Michelle?
Yeah, definitely even. And Dan, I have to say, both of these teams showing just how well that they can play. This is very close, similar to game number 1. Game number 2 swung very heavily into Worldwide Wiper's favor after they shut down both Aurora and Stealth Breed simultaneously, having a little bit more difficulty this time around due to Ladandis on Misfortune deciding to, I guess, show them all up. And I have to remark very quickly, Ladandis has been taking blue buff for herself. Misfortune with a blue buff, you can essentially just double up on everything, and that's a very interesting build to say, if not a very fascinating one, to put Misfortune with a blue buff.
Interesting. Yeah, we'll have to see how that plays out, but for now, giving blue to Cog is a pretty good option. Orianna does have a pretty big mana pool with, even just that 1 Doran's and the Rod of Ages should be able to keep her sustainable in terms of mana. Kog'Maw was able to really utilize that for a while, and he does have that Zeal on top of that Infinity Edge, so Kog'Maw is going to be an incredible force. One thing to consider, though, is that we don't actually see too much poking, despite the fact that they have a poke team, and I really want them to utilize that for the next team fight, which looks like it's about to happen any second here, Michelle.
Yeah, they are just doing this intricate dance. Everybody's bunched up together. They're trying to be careful of Orianna, trying to be careful of Kog'Maw and Aurora actually backing up, and so is Xantius. Not sure if that's the wisest choice. All 5 members of Worldwide Wipers trying to keep... Oh, Ladandis actually burning the ultimate to try to keep them from taking this tower. that's a full 5 members here, still just waiting for Baron, or a chance to get a Baron.
Yeah, that's because Ra is separate from his team. Keep in mind, he does not have teleport. He can't just get into the fight, so he's actually in a very awkward position, and I gotta say, he's gotta stop trying to do this, especially because of the threat of Baron and the fact that he doesn't have teleport, and that's kind of the whole idea of why you want to do that if you have split pushing. Now, again, we see that Worldwide Wipers hasn't really been utilizing the poke too much. Kog'Maw's still trying to poke his way in here, but his blue buff has expired, so Nidalee again still pushing top here. Do you think this is the right move here? Trying to call back the team, make sure to pressure them, but Ra still staying separate from his team could end up costing them a lot if Worldwide Wipers decide to dive them or try to engage upon them.
Yeah, I'm not so sure. I think what he's planning on doing is trying to pressure down this inner turret, but he's not going to make it in time. They have engaged here. They need the team. It's Stealth Breed does get ulted. Oh, there's the... Oh, wow, all the ultimates being thrown by every single member of the Worldwide Wipers. And the Lunar Reddick taking a lot of damage, has survived the whole time. Xantius also taking a lot of damage, but here comes Ra trying to be cleanup crew, but that Shiralias is going to keep them alive. Oh, does take down Kog'Maw with a double up, and Lunar Reddick trying to take down Ra. It's also getting greedy right now. Here comes Laudandus. Oh, and that slash laugh. The inner turret does go down, but that is easily a 2-for-2 exchange in, I guess that's technically in FEU's favor, but the way that they're playing this game is just every single advantage that they've been able to take, they've made a mistake to make up for it, and they're unable to hang on to a very solid lead that they could have at this point in the game.
Well, a couple things happened in that fight, which was really good for Worldwide Wipers. First of all, I mean, when Stealth Breed ulted, Orianna ulted to pull him back, so actually the majority of his burst was wasted, and they actually managed to suppress him for the most duration of the fight. But more importantly, you know, Kalec had a really good opportunity to just stay in there, and if they ever tried to dive him, he'd be able to poke. He just kind of ran up to Misfortune, fought him, 100% health to like 10. And I was just really like, oh man, what is going on? Like, don't do that. We see Ra actually pushing in here, trying to see if he can steal red, and she does. Oh my goodness. Ra managed to spear and steal red firmly from the grasps of Kalec, and that's actually a big play, because Kog'Maw with red and the range he's got here at level 15 is going to be absolutely insane. So great job there by Ra showing that he still has that ability to split push. And now Worldwide Wipers find themselves in kind of an awkward position because Ra is pushing the bottom turret while Lunar Reddick is actually not doing anything. I
really hope that's... Oh, okay. No, not a DC. He is still in this, but Ra taking a lot of damage out here onto this bottom turret, but I like the placement that they have right now. It's setting up for Baron.
Yeah. If they send too many people to focus on Ra, they're just gonna go Baron. That's pretty much the name of the game. Meanwhile, pressure lanes, and I mean, Warwick will never catch Nidalee right now this late in the game. Nidalee is way too tanky, and in fact, she's got a Force of Nature and a Wit's End and Murtra, so her MR rates are outrageous right now. We'll have to see who's going to get the next good engagement, because the positions right now of engagements have been favoring Worldwide Wipers, but a little bit of misexecution right now sometimes puts people like Kalec into very bad positions in the middle of the fight, and hopefully they can really protect them, because we saw in game number 1, protect the actually in game number 1 and 2, protect the Kog'Maw has been the name of the game. Will they be able to do it? Looks like the next fight might end up being at Dragon here. WWW trying to secure it. They end up getting it, but Xantius is going to put a lot of damage. Alex is actually under pressure. Here comes the bullet time and the slicing maelstrom, so the AoE effect is in full force here, and FEU will get a lot of units low. But we do see Xantius about to drop here, as well as Jakandra running as fast as he can. Ra trying to push him back, and the damage from Kog'Maw is just too much. Despite the fact that AoE was able to go off on everyone, didn't target the most important person of them all, and that was Colette. Colette cleaning up almost everyone there, and that should be a Baron 3-to-1 trade, as it almost was a clean ace because Stealth Breed and Karamja barely managed to escape with their lives.
And I have to remark, Yetz here being a second, I guess, MVP, or yeah, second MVP here. Despite that low amount of health, the regen with the ultimate, and that lifesteal or anything that he's got, really, he keeps being whittled down to only a bar or two of health, and then comes right back up. It's simply amazing, and unfortunately that baited Rarabara up to try to take him down, but that regen. Mundo will go where he pleases, and looks like FEU has yet to get the memo.
Yeah, and we do see them have a 49.4 to 47 flat gold lead, so still actually not that big of an advantage. And the most important thing is that the people who need the kills have them. Misfortune has kills, and she does have Last Whisper, Phantom Dancer, Bloodthirster, so her damage output is still relatively high. And people kind of underestimate Misfortune's attack late game. And, you know, as long as she's still adding damage, FEU is still a very strong team fight presence, as long as they can land their AoE. Now, that's kind of also been the problem of their composition, Michelle, because the biggest problem with AoE is the fact that sometimes if they don't clean up, everyone lives because everyone's really low. So they really need to do a better job protecting Ladandis, as he's been jumped upon, and if they can, maybe they can start swinging around some team fights. Yeah,
and that's actually a very good point. The fact that, I mean, that last fight, Stealth Breed ended up right here, does get the CC off, but unfortunately didn't catch Lunar Reddick, and when Lunar Reddick just jumps onto Misfortune there, Ladandis can't really do anything in retaliation.
Yeah, so we see that WWW is pushing the bottom turret right now, and that's what they should be doing. They have Baron, they're starting to really push up, but you also see that not a lot of wards are being placed around for WWW. Looks like they finally starting to ward a little bit more aggressively, but should be taken out immediately. Kog'Maw going to work on Xanthius. Calic doing an immense amount of damage, does have his Fan Dancer and Last Whisper, is officially terror status. So now, I mean, at this point, if you're FEU, you just have to hope that one of the other team makes a mistake, because they should be losing towers right now, but I guess because they're split pushing, they haven't been effective on pushing on those towers just yet.
And Yet's very tanky right now. Warmog's Aegis of the Legion, chain armor or chainmail. That amount of armor that he has right now and the amount of health, it will help very much in the long run. And Prizzo, ooh, a lot of damage here on a Karamja Rum. So waddles away to safety, but man, these guys are just they are stretched very thin right now.
Yeah, those 3 crits in a row from Kog'Maw, and that stings. And Calic with that should be able to take that turn. Looks like bullet time from Ladandis may have bit off more than he chewed. Lunarish actually flashed in here, probably wanted to infinite arrest Ladandis and really put on the executing blow. But you know, if Ladandis died there, that would have been another turret and inhibitor. But now it's still 5 members up. Still anything could change. Keep in mind, bullet time is down, so that could give confidence for Worldwide Wipers to push in here. Oh man, Calic's still getting super aggressive, but right now backing off for just a moment here, as I think Baron's about to run out as well on both of this team. So yeah, they're backing off for just a moment, but for now, a huge momentum swing, 5,000 gold advantage for Worldwide Wipers.
Yeah, in the meantime, this bottom... the top tower, excuse me, has been pushing very steadily. That it has been a large wave. Unfortunately, not able to make a dent here on that inhibitor turret up the top. Wow, they have, while they have been trying to pressure middle and bottom lane, have taken out that inhibitor. The rest of FEU really needs to try to just turtle up and see what they can do. In the face of a team fight, they need to take out Kog'Maw as fast as possible, and no matter how annoying Mundo is right now, they've kind of let him grow out of control. He's very tanky, and he's dishing out the damage that he needs to be doing, but they can't ignore him, and they can't ignore Kog'Maw. In the meantime, there's also Warwick you need to keep in mind, but Prizzo right here does have the Rod of Ages and a Death Cap. They're all very, very frightening at this point in the game, and Ladandis is really the only one in return dishing out the amount of damage that she really needs to do, but nobody else on this team Nidalee, built a little bit too tanky for my taste, does have the wit's end, but unfortunately not able to really clean up house after jumping in onto Mundo every single team fight.
Yeah, you know, Nidalee's build is more of like that bruiser. And she doesn't have the infamous Warmog's Atmos tanky kind of build that she has. Instead, she's leaning heavily towards MR. And the most important thing, she has Bloodthirsters, but she's dying. It's not the Lulu patch yet, so she's been losing stacks non-stop, losing a lot of damage and sustainability in fights. And as a result, she's like, oh, well, you know, she's trying to split push. But she's not teleport. In fact, there's 3, now almost 4 members going top, and Nidalee's not going to be able to get there in time. That's another tower loss for FEU. In fact, Prizzo, whiffs on the ultimate. Was trying to get the shockwave off of Ladandis, but a little bit of a choke there, but no real big consequence there. Didn't lead to any deaths, and as a result, Worldwide Viper's still pressing top lane, but that could have been disastrous for FEU if Ladandis got caught.
And Ladandis still trying to do what he can. Alex Man and Calic are not letting up the pressure from Ladandis at all. Ramjarum trying to support their Prizzo, running back and forth, throwing her ball wherever she can. Lulu Reddick and Yes just trying to be irritating, and Rara unable to really do too much about that. But man, these guys are they're losing towers, losing objectives, and their favor, the slight advantage that they had in the middle of this game has slowly turned in favor for Worldwide Vipers, and it's a very exciting best-of-3 series, and we'll see whether or not FEU can pull a good team fight around and turn this game to heavily into their bow with another either whiffed ultimate or just kind of a one for fun.
Well, right now, Worldwide Vipers can afford to play this game because no matter what, bottom lane's going to be pushing because of the inhibitor down, and they can wait for Baron, which should be up within the next 30 seconds to a minute. And you know, when they have that lane pushing, they can just pretty much get free objective again. And that's just kind of the momentum. When you claim an inhibitor, suddenly you have map vision and map presence you can get for Baron, and if they can clear Baron incredibly quickly, pretty much should be able to get it uncontested, be able to push into the lane. So what's going to happen is this. We're going to see one more team fight attempt here from FEU, but if it doesn't work out, Worldwide Vipers will be able to take their lead and run it all the way home. And unless FEU makes a pretty grand stand, which still is quite possible, because keep in mind, Miss Fortune is pretty fed relative to everyone else, 363. So if they can get everything, if Raw can finally meet up with their teammates, anything can happen, but it's going to come down to one last fight, I feel. And whichever way it goes will probably dictate the next few minutes of the game. So we'll see whether or not WWW is able to get that engagement position, but for now, they're pushing top.
And that is 4 members. Yetz is keeping 2 members of FEU busy. And Ladandis, there we go, burning bullet time. Little Reddick trying to get in there, I think, is going to be careful about burning flash a second time without being able to get infinite duress off. Has used up the ultimate by Ladandis, so that'll be down for another several handfuls of seconds. But Rorora trying to hold both middle and bottom lane, really needs to get back up with the team, especially with the poke and tankiness that Nidalee has right now.
No, I totally agree. I mean, by the same time, he has to make sure to protect that inhibitor. That's actually another big point of contention. In fact, Worldwide Vipers might just opt to try to see if they can take inhibitor once again and find the breaking point there. They have also the lane pushing. So yeah, oh no, Ra's out of position. No, he does manage to get away just in time. And yeah, looks like the last fights here might end up being around inhibitor. If Worldwide Vipers gets a pretty good advantage, they should be able to take other turrets because of the way the lanes are pushing. So what's going to happen? Who's going to engage first? We see the infinite duress there, and the ultimate there on Stealth Breed does manage to activate his own just in time, but no real ultimate. Prizzo does pick up the kill. Xanthius trying to jump in here and do as much damage as possible, but getting torn apart by Calic. Calic doing so much damage, pushing 4 members from FEU back, and Worldwide Vipers looking like they will take this inhibitor turret. No, Ladandis does drop, and that is a very, very bad sign indeed, as Raw trying to push back, but with that, should be able to take out another turret Will FEU make one final stand, as that last team attempt, or team fight attempt, was their biggest grand stand here? Lunar Reddick should be able to push back everyone else as the last turret does go down, and with that, a Nexus Rush is in order, so that should be it. There it is, the good games well played, and the good luck, so very mattered as all the players, and it looks like your winners for today will be the Worldwide Vipers, taking the round of 32 over FEU with a really strong game number 3. And you know, that was a really contested game, Michelle, but overall, it wasn't really clear who was going to win, even going into 30 minutes into the game.
Yeah, and it was very, very well done. 45 minutes long, and FEU just kind of, that advantage they had slipped through their fingers, and Worldwide Vipers being able to capitalize on mistakes, being able to try to keep an eye on Ra for that game number 1. Letting Nidalee do whatever he wanted was just a mistake that first game, and they learned very quickly. They adapted. They pulled essentially a Moscow 5 from that last game and just kind of dragged it on until they were able to play better and just secure the win for game number 3, and Worldwide Vipers will move on.
Yeah, so great job there. I want to commend Yetz for doing a fantastic job, early game presence, to make sure Kog'Maw never felt too uncomfortable. He was always bot lane whenever he needed to be, and despite the fact that he spent so much time top early game, was really making Shyvana unable to farm everything, because Xanthias, the way he would want to, the way Ra wanted to play was to be able to constantly push and then counter jungle with Xanthias, but never was able to execute that plan. Lodandus still played very well, but in the end was not able to carry his team, and Stealthbreed just sometimes just was not just that half second of being a little bit too far forward, as Warwick was able to really combo well with Orianna and instantly give him, making sure he could not add his burst. And as a result, Stealthbreed not as effective as he would like to be in that matchup. But overall, again, it was a very close contested series, and if this is any indication of more series throughout the tournament, I'm very excited.
And we will head into a quick commercial break, as well as, I guess, a few other things and cleanup. Oh, yes, before I forget, we must plug gaming.stackexchange.com. So, I guess, Frodan, can you tell us a little bit more about their contest, or about, I guess, how awesome our sponsors are?
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, especially for the people who may be just tuning in through OWN TV, we are sponsored by the Gaming Stack Exchange, which is gaming.stackexchange.com. They're basically giving out free gaming consoles and RP, and who doesn't love free stuff? And whoever has like the highest rated question, the highest rated answer tagged by League of Legends, by March 21st, I believe, will receive a gaming console of their choice for up to $250 in value. So the question has to be posted on the website in order for you to be a contestant. Just make sure you tag League of Legends into that, and more importantly, if you put up the word ggClassic somewhere around in your profile or in somewhere around there, and you will be eligible to randomly win $25 RP card. So thank you again, Stack Exchange, for being willing to sponsor this tournament and helping us a lot with the prize pool. So just check them out again. And if you see the Reddit post, anytime you see Stack Exchange or you see ggClassic, please give us an upvote as well as a comment. Please leave us feedback as well on our casting, as I actually mainly cast StarCraft 2, but I love League of Legends, and a lot of people from StarCraft actually yell at me because I don't know, StarCraft people, sometimes they don't like League of Legends, but they yell at me, and I'm like, no, dude, I love casting League. It's a fun game. But we're not done just yet, actually. We're gonna I think Michelle and I will be casting also later this afternoon. We just need a quick little break before we go, and it's actually gonna be Team Fortnite versus Ability Power is Magic. So we're gonna have a pretty good series there as well. If you like this content, follow the stream, as well as leave us some good, positive, and loving comments in the Reddit thread or wherever you see us. And that's pretty much it for me.
Yeah, so we will turn off the stream right now and head onto stream number 2. That is on the same, I guess the same channel. So GG Chronicle, but number 2. So this is channel number 3. We will return on channel 2, bringing you the next game between Team Fortnite and Ability Power is Magic. And this is Silverdart and Frodan signing off.
So we need some AP then?
Alright,
Okay.
I'll be right back.
How about this one? Dead and dangerous. If you wanna win, then roll with us. Cause when I turn on my AoE, better hope Blitzcrank don't grab at me. And yes, of course it's harsh. I'm running mid lane just like my marsh. And no, you don't wanna mess with me. I'm the Statue of Liberty. Now your whole team's got their finger focused onto the Death Singer, trying so hard not to linger in the lane with me. Tonight we're trying hard, but dude, this game is ours. I'm tearing you apart, hit you from afar. Hey God, this press hard. Don't matter who you got.